Hey everybody, I'm Nobody here, back with another video. Can you guess or fucking read what we're going to be talking about? I did say we were going to do a review the next time, I tried. I tried to do the Blair Witch game that came out. I played it on Game Pass. I played like an hour of it and I just couldn't get into it. It's not my type of game. Sorry, so you're not getting that review. The next review you're getting is Gears of War 5, which I should be playing right now, but I'm doing this video instead. Now, I want to talk about Spider-Man because I know way too much about Spider-Man, and with everything going on, him going back 100% to Sony, the MCU no longer having him, along with everything that they possibly set up during Far From Home, none of that matters now. So I just wanted to talk about what could and should happen, but most likely won't happen. And why we should be hopeful and optimistic for the future of Spider-Man, because not every movie they've done by themselves was bad. So let's jump in. So obviously most of us know by now that Sony and Marvel couldn't come to an agreement. 100% why, over my head, I don't get too much into that. All I know is that Spider-Man is going back to just Sony. It's not going to be included in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. We got to watch him die and come back, and now he's gone again. And yeah, it sucks. Everyone thought that this would be the greatest thing for Spider-Man, and it was great. We got him in 5 different movies: Civil War, Far From Home, Homecoming, Endgame, and Infinity War. And Tom Holland is by far probably the best actor so far to fit Spider-Man's role along with Peter Parker's role. But that's with today's standards. Back in 2000, when Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he was perfect. Andrew Garfield, I think, did a really good job too. Not a lot of people like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I do. I saw a lot of potential in Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, but he worked with what he was given. So he's not a bad actor. It didn't ruin him. He went on and did a bunch of other movies, including Hacksaw Ridge, which was a great fucking movie. But we're talking about Tom Holland now. So he's going to be included into the Venom verse, whatever you want to call it, along with Morbius, who's being played by Jared Leto, who can get the fuck out because he was an awful Joker. So another white-skinned dude, he's pigeonholed into extra white people, extra white characters. But I think that there's a number of ways this could go: good, bad, mediocre. It's not going to ruin Tom Holland at all. Tom Holland is very much in demand. He's a great actor. The whole scene where he turns to dust in Tony Stark's arms, where he just did it. There was no script to that. He just did it, and everyone was crying in the theater. So what does that tell you? I think inevitably he's going to meet up with Venom, which is played by Tom Hardy. Which, if you haven't seen the Venom movie, it's actually really really good in my opinion. I haven't seen it a second time. A lot of times if I see movies in the theaters, it takes me a while to watch them again. If they're on TV, if they're on Netflix, that's usually when I do it, because I've seen Into the Spider-Verse so many freaking times, which is another good example of Sony doing right by Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse was not only a gorgeous movie, it's very well written. There's a lot of things that are coming out, kind of like you'd think would be too much going on at once, kind of like Spider-Man 3, which doesn't exist in my mind. That movie was god-awful. But it works very well. Sony can get the right writers, which obviously they did, and the right directors for Into the Spider-Verse. I think there should be no problem. They can add them in with Venom. I think the best way to go is after how Far From Home ended, with Mysterio revealing his identity. That could be the main Marvel universe. That's no longer has to deal with anything. They can just not reboot. We don't really need to see Uncle Ben die again, but just a different universe with Tom Holland still as Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Just a few things different. Be about 18. He's a little bit more experienced, whatever. has his own costume. He built his own stuff. He doesn't. The biggest problem I had with the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man is he relied too much on Tony Stark and his technology. Spider-Man is a very self-sufficient superhero. He's created everything himself that he has. Up until the Civil War comic, 10 plus years ago, where Iron Man did give him the Iron Spider suit. But he's made his own web shooters, his Spidey signal, all this stuff by himself since the 60s. We didn't need all of that. I get it. You know, they're trying to include him in somehow, or you know, they didn't think that things would do too well without Tony Stark. Whatever the reason was, it's no longer necessary. So just give us a different Peter, give us a different Spider-Man, same actor, different universe. I'd be perfectly fine with that. Now, is it going to happen? No. Probably not. They're probably going to throw something out of left field, and he's going to be either, you know, on the run, or, you know, they wanted, but now they can't get out of the hole they were digging, because I'm sure the way they're going to go about doing things were they're going to bring the scroll in, they're like, this one's Peter Parker, this one's Spider-Man, and then they're going to be like, oh, okay, it's not the same person. Not that simple. Of course, it was never going to be that simple. No, but now they can't do that. They can't bring Nick Fury in. They can't bring Happy in. It's just a disaster. They probably should have came to an agreement, because that would be a little easier. But the Russo brothers, who have done Winter Soldier, Endgame, Infinity War, they're saw quoted. I'm not going to quote it because I don't feel like looking for that shit. That Kevin Feige was looking for a way out, which is weird, because why wouldn't you want the either first or second most recognized and most popular superhero in the world in your universe? Sure, working with Sony is probably difficult, but it's worth it. There's not many people that dislike Spider-Man. He's an all-around, everyday superhero. Has personal issues, life issues, all this stuff. He's very relatable, other than he can walk on walls. But they said Feige was looking for a way out. Obviously it happened. Whatever. And I don't blame Sony for being hard to deal with. They literally have gold in their hands. There's probably not enough money in the world for Sony to be like, here you go, take them. And Disney's probably thinking of a way to buy them, or at least buy Sony, because Disney owns everything, really. So I think either way it's a loss, but it's also a gain for Sony. A loss for Marvel. I'm sure they'll figure it out. You know, they have all these X-Men and everything now that they can do stuff with, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure that'll maybe fill somewhat of the hole that Spider-Man, you know, with Spider-Man being gone. Now, for him being in the Sony Venomverse, Spideyverse, whatever they're going to call it, I'm sure it'll go back to Spideyverse. But I'm sure they have a lot of plans, and I'm sure they're probably just throwing shit at a wall right now and just going, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, we should do that, and we're not gonna see anything for a while. Probably, because I know right now they're heavily focused on the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse, sequel to Venom, which is being directed by Andy Serkis, which is amazing. The Morbius movie, which we've seen very little about, I can give a shit less. Actually, you know what? I care a little bit now that the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix is doing well. I can't wait to see that. Maybe, you know, you can have just a full-on villain movie, and I don't count Venom as a villain movie. He's an anti-hero at best. You know, at one point he was a villain, and by today's standards, he's an anti-hero. That was a movie about him being an anti-hero for sure. He still killed some people. So, I think the best thing to do is remain hopeful. Try not to be too negative. It's not going to ruin Tom Holland's career. You know, just look forward to the next time you see Tom Holland in whatever suit they put him in, because there's some suits that he can't use due to the cinematic universe. So they should just put him in a decent Spider-Man outfit that looks like the one from Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, just a culmination of those two into the perfect Spidey suit. Make his eyes a little bigger, that'd be fucking awesome. Simple. They don't need to go overboard. There's so much that they can do wrong, but so much that they can do right. And I'm really hoping they get it right. Because I'm fucking sick of getting new Spider-Man announced every couple of years. I've been watching the Spider movies and paying attention to them since they first came out with Tobey Maguire. And I owe all this knowledge that I have to not only some of the superheroes, but mostly I know way too much about Spider-Man. I owe that to my father, who at a young age, for me, saw an opportunity and fucking jumped at it. And he was like, hey, we should go to a comic book store. Because he bought me a Daredevil action figure that had the comic in it. It was around the time the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck came out, which was fucking good to me. Everyone hates it, including Ben Affleck, but what the fuck ever. We saw an opportunity, we went and got comics. Every weekend he had me, and now I have a bunch, and I'm obsessed with Spider-Man, and it's not healthy. And that's probably why I'm alone right now. But I really just wanted to say my opinion on that. Not that anybody cares, even all three of you. So, and this is just me trying to get a video out since it's been like over a week since I did the Control review. I did play more of that game. The game's great. Go play it. I'll put a link up right here to the video, link down here to subscribe, like the video, dislike the video. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think I did wrong or what you think should happen. All three of you, do that. I mean, it'd be fun. Thank you. Look out for my Gears of War 5 video whenever that comes out. I gotta go. I'm gonna go play it right now.